Did you know that your grandmother's undiagnosed anxiety could be what is following you? As a mental wellness expert, I've found genograms to be one of the most revealing tools for understanding how family history, relationships, and behavioral patterns are shaping our mental health. Let me briefly explain to you what a genogram is. Unlike a simple family tree, it uncovers hidden emotional dynamics that can help clients deal with the trauma. So, what's a genogram? A genogram is a map. This is a map that puts on your family's emotional and relational history. So, it's a visual map of your family's emotional and relational history. So, you put it on there and you can include the mental health conditions in your family. What are they? Are they anxiety? Are they depression? Are they addiction? I love genograms because they force you to do personal reflection. Personally, if someone has not done this, I'm going to show you how to do it at the end of the video. So please stay tuned to the end. So you put on this map using symbols. You can use circles, you can use triangles, you can use maybe circles to represent depression, you can use triangles to represent addiction. So on this map, you're going to put down the mental health conditions that your family has gone through. You're going to put down relationship dynamics. Was there conflict? Was there estrangement? Was there enmeshment? Was there different things like divorce? Put it down in this map. Then you're going to put down the behavioral patterns. How did your family communicate? How did your grandmother and her sisters communicate? Look at how they coped with challenges. What were their coping mechanisms? Were they running to alcohol or drugs? Were they running into relationships as a form of coping? Then look at their trauma and their resilience, generational trauma, and their key life events that you've been told about. Let me tell you something. A client may discover that their chronic anxiety is coming from their grandmother's PTSD, and it's just mirroring that. So, uncovering this pattern is so important because it's really not discussed openly. Why genograms matter in mental wellness is that it helps you to identify generational trauma that you could be a victim of. It helps you to see how unprocessed grief, abuse, and addiction echoes through the decades. You can see that whatever your grandmother went through is coming back down to you. And then it helps you to break the stigma because now it's normalizing the mental health struggles in a family system and it's bringing them out. Your own mental health struggles may not be personal issues, but family struggles and family patterns that you can break. It also helps you to predict the risk and the resilience. So there are good things and there are bad things that we've inherited from our families. So you can flag your inherited vulnerabilities, but you can also flag your inherited strengths like adaptability. Look at your grandmother and her sisters and her brothers. Were they adaptable? Were they strong? They were warriors. These are strengths that project onto you. But also, when you see the risks and the vulnerabilities, you can work through these with therapy. So, this knowledge improves therapy outcome, therefore, reduces the shame that clients struggle with because they understand that it's not just them. But it's a whole family line. And it's just not your family alone, it's every family. So let's take a closer look at this. Sketch three generations. Get a pen, get a notebook. I usually recommend that when you join these sessions where I'm teaching, you have a notebook with you. Now, sketch three generations. Sketch your grandparents, sketch your parents, and then sketch you. Now you're going to note your key stresses. You don't have to draw an elaborate drawing. If you're not an artist, don't feel bad. You can use symbols, you can use stick figurines. Now, note the key stresses. Is it divorce? Are there divorces? Note down which parent went through the divorces. Are there illnesses? Note down which parents were afflicted with these illnesses. Were there migrations? Note down which parents, which aunties had to go through these migrations. And ask yourself this reflective question honestly: what patterns do I carry forward? What do I want to change? So there was this client that I had that had panic attacks, and they assumed that they were just anxious until we drew up their genogram, and it revealed that their grandfather was alcoholic and emotionally abusive, and he had an addressed post-traumatic stress disorder from the war in which he fought in. It revealed that their mother was a perfectionist and avoided conflict, which was a learned coping strategy. And now this client had inherited hypervigilance, which was a panic disorder. So our therapy now shifted from trying to fix the symptoms to healing the intergenerational wounds. So I want you to try this today. Draw a mini genogram. And with these three questions, I want you to ask, who in your family struggled silently with mental health? Write it down. What coping strategies were passed down the family line? Write it down. Ask yourself, what cycle do I want to end? Write it down. And what cycle do I want to continue? Write it down. So, genograms don't just tell family stories, they rewrite them. So, I'm praying that through this exercise, you're able to identify where you fall along that line, and you're able to trace your relationship lines. So you can use symbols, like I said, you can use triangles, you can use circles, you can use dotted lines, you can use squiggly lines to trace out the relationship that you have with this person. So, for example, if these are grandparents and these are their children, you can draw lines to draw that relationship. And if you are depicting emotional cutoff, like estrangement, like this is a father that abandoned a son, you can draw a cut, like some type of two lines to demonstrate that this relationship ended in a brutal way. So I'm inviting you to do some self reflection. You'll be surprised what you will discover when you look deep within your family. And if you look within the family, you need to remember that no family is perfect. So don't hold them to a standard that is so high. But we're doing this and drawing this genogram such that we can understand what battles do we want to fight. But it also helps us to understand what positive qualities do we have. Because if your grandparents were hardworking, then you can leverage that and tap into your hardworking genes. So I want you to have fun with this and let me know in the comments what you discovered about yourself. Was this helpful? And if that is something that you can do, please reach out. Also, you can send me an email via lilahaven256@gmail.com, and let's do this together. If you don't know how to do it or you've not understood, let's book a live call. Call me and let's discuss and draw up this genogram so that we can understand what we need to focus on and work on. And don't worry, it's going to be super fun because at Lila Haven we use art for therapy. So we're going to break it down in the simplest way possible. It's not going to have a lot of words and jargon that you find hard to understand, but it's going to be creative, interactive. So don't hesitate to reach out and we can schedule you in with our psychologist. And I promise you, the things you're going to discover about yourself are going to change your life. Because this thing that you might have been struggling with is something that we can solve. It could be something as simple as understanding where it came from and learning to work on the root cause instead of dealing with the symptoms that are appearing. So, this is why therapy doesn't work sometimes, because you're dealing with the symptoms instead of dealing with the root cause. So, book a session, book a call with me, and let's get right into